Welcome to part 5 on the float data type. In this lesson we will look at working with integers and floats and what we need to be aware of. So let's get to it. I'll start in jshell in verbose mode and I'm going to declare some variables. Declaring a byte with a value of 12. Short s with a value of 55. An int named I with a value of negative 99. A long L. The value of 897665. And a char value, character value in other words, the value of A. Okay, so a float as well is equal to L, my long, is equal to I, which is my int, which is equal to S, which is my short, equal to B, which is my byte. What do you think the value of this will be? If you see my byte there is 12, my short is 55, and so on. And as you can see, the float is 12 because what happened is going from the right to left. So the byte was 12, which was 12 was assigned from the byte to the short, and then the short value, which is now 12, is assigned to int, which the int now becomes 12, and that int value of 12 is assigned to the long, and finally the long is assigned to the float, which then becomes a float value of 12.0. Let's take the float and we assign it the value of A. What do you think will happen in this case? As we saw, our character A, our char value C, was assigned a character of A. What will happen in that case? And as you can see, the A's value, the character is assigned int. So, and you can assign any int to a float. So the A, which is represented with an int value of 97, is assigned to float, which becomes a float value of 97.0. Let's say we want to assign the float now to our long value. What will happen in this case? Since we know that our float is 97.0, can we assign it to the long? And as you can see, you cannot, because you cannot assign a float to an int. A float is a float to a long, or float to int, because a float is larger, so you'll get a compiler error. You need to cast it. We can do this, and we say we cast it, the float to a long, and as you can see now, the long is now 97. So you don't need to cast from an int to a float, but you do need to cast from a float to an int value. We've come to the end of this lesson. We saw that we can assign any integer type to a float, but we need to cast a float to an integer type due to a possible loss when converting from a larger float value to an integer value. If we don't do that, the JVM will throw a compiler error. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. learned something from it, and please don't forget to press the subscribe and notify button. I've also got a Facebook page related to this channel. You're welcome to join my adventure channel where I share photos and videos of various activities. Until we meet again in our next lesson, I wish you well and happy coding.